A mother is calling through the storm, and humanity must decide if it will answer. The jungle trembles under heavy rain, each drop like a drumbeat of fate, each gust of wind carrying the weight of survival. Harris, soaked to the bone, sprints through the underbrush, heart pounding louder than the thunder above. Branches whip against his face, roots claw at his boots, and yet he doesn't stop, because ahead, beyond the gorge fence and beneath a jagged stone overhang, lies Luma, the sanctuary's most powerful gorilla. Her massive body heaves with the primal rhythm of labor. Her arms claw at the mud. Her chest rumbles with guttural cries that echo against the cliff walls. For 3 days, she had vanished into the wild, her swollen belly due to burst, her fate unknown. Search drones and trackers combed every inch of the reserve until this morning, when fresh prints led them here. Now, the rangers stand frozen in the rain, caught between duty and awe, between the law of non-intervention and the undeniable truth that life itself hangs in balance before their eyes. Do. For the whole creation groans and labors with birth pangs together until now. The jungle groans with her. And so does every soul who watches, helpless. Another contraction racks her body, more violent than before. She hunches forward, her knuckles digging into slick stone, the storm washing mud down her fur in rivers. Her breathing grows louder, raw, unfiltered, as though the earth itself is exhaling through her lungs. Then, suddenly, she stops. Her massive head jerks upward. Her eyes widen, dark orbs glowing with primal fear. She isn't just focused on the birth. She's staring into the darkness behind her. What's she looking at? One ranger whispers, voice trembling beneath the downpour. But no one answers, because in that silence hangs an ancient truth. The wild is never without danger. With a sound none of them have heard before, a high, sharp vocalization that blends pain and fear. Luma twists and pushes. The jungle holds its breath. Then, a wriggling form slides into the mud. Slick, fragile, alive, gasps ripple through the radio channel. A miracle has entered the world. But Luma doesn't move. She doesn't lift the infant. She doesn't cradle it. Instead, her hand stretches left toward the shadows. And then it comes. A second cry, a second infant. Twins. The sanctuary hasn't seen a twin birth in decades, and history is cruel to such moments. Most never survive. Rain lashes harder, water pooling around the newborns. The first wriggles. The second barely breathes. Luma's arms hover in paralysis, caught between instinct and something deeper. Even the sparrow has found a home, and the swallow a nest for herself where she may have her young. A place near your altar, Lord Almighty. But will this altar of mud and rain be sanctuary or grave? The storm rages on. Steam rises from Luma's trembling back. Her chest heaves like rolling thunder. The newborns cry. One strong, one fading. Maya, the youngest ranger, clutches a blanket steeped in Luma's scent, whispering. She doesn't know what to do. Harris's eyes narrow as the truth slices through him like lightning. Luma has never faced this before. In the wild, mothers often choose the stronger twin. It is ancient arithmetic, survival at its coldest. Yet here, before their eyes, a battle greater than instinct takes form. Compassion wars with evolution. The jungle is a crucible, and the outcome is uncertain. Slowly, painfully, Luma lifts the first infant to her chest. Its cries soften, soothed by warmth and heartbeat. The second lies still, tiny chest rising once, then faltering. She's leaving it, Maya whispers, voice breaking. Harris's voice cuts through the storm like iron. Not yet. Then something happens. Luma growls, not at them, not at the storm, but at herself. Her hand trembles in the air, caught between surrender and mercy. And then, defying the weight of millions of years, she scoops up the second infant and pulls it close. Silence. Then, a cough, a twitch, the fragile curl of fingers into her fur. 2 heartbeats against her chest. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. Against all odds, she chose them both. But the battle isn't won. The stronger twin feeds, belly swelling with life, while the weaker whimpers, unable to latch. Hunger gnaws at its fragile body. If it doesn't feed soon, we lose it, Harris mutters, pacing beneath the camouflage blind. Inside the tent, medics prepare formula, but no plan matters unless Luma allows them near. And she won't. Her massive form blocks every path, her wild eyes scanning, protective, dangerous. Then Eli's voice cracks over the comms. Drones picking up movement. North quadrant. Harris rushes to the monitor. The thermal camera flares red, a large heat signature closing fast. When the figure emerges from the ridge, the team's blood runs cold. A rogue silverback, massive, scarred, eyes locked on Luma. His presence is death itself. For males in the wild kill infants that aren't theirs. Luma cannot flee. She can barely stand. Yet she rises, the twins tucked behind her. Her body a living wall of defiance. She pounds her chest, the sound booming through the gorge like war drums. The rogue snarls. Gravel and thunder in one. Every ranger holds their breath. But then, the unexpected. The silverback halts, sniffing the air. His eyes flicker toward the alcove, then soften. A low grunt. Not challenge, not rage, but recognition. Slowly, deliberately, he turns and vanishes into the storm. No fight, no blood, just silence. Luma lowers herself again, curling around her children. A mother's love has won the ground where violence should have ruled. When the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against him. Night creeps closer. The weaker twin fades. Its cries are thin, brittle, like glass breaking in the wind. Maya trembles. Harris paces like a predator in a cage. Finally, he knows. He must act. He alone carries Luma's trust, born of years spent feeding her by hand, nursing her wounds, mourning with her when she lost her first baby. If anyone can cross that sacred threshold, it is him. He strips down his approach. No blanket, no bottle, nothing in his hands but the memory of trust. The gate clicks open. The jungle falls silent. Each step is heavier than the storm. 10 feet away, Harris kneels, palms flat, voice soft as prayer. "Hey girl, you remember me?" Luma rises. Her eyes burn through him. For a moment it seems she'll charge. But then she shifts, slowly, deliberately. And she does something that makes every ranger, every medic, every trembling soul hold their breath. She reveals the weaker twin. Rain trickles down Harris's face, mingling with tears he didn't know he shed. This is no longer instinct, no longer survival math. This is trust. This is bond. This is animal and humanity meeting in the storm's eye. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. And in that clearing, beneath the breaking sky, a miracle is born. Harris reaches out, not to take, but to offer warmth. Luma doesn't flinch. The infant stirs. Its tiny hand curls around his finger, fragile yet unyielding. Luma exhales, the sound less of growl and more of surrender. The weaker twin, warmed and fed, fights back from the edge of death. The stronger twin sleeps soundly, unaware of the war that raged for its siblings' survival. Together, they lie against their mother's chest, the rhythm of life stronger than the storm. The jungle breathes again. Rain gives way to light, piercing through the canopy in golden shafts. For the first time in days, hope blooms in the sanctuary. Humanity didn't just witness survival, it witnessed something greater. A choice, a bond, a miracle. And as Luma closes her eyes, both infants alive against her heart, the team knows. The story of this night will echo forever. The lion shall lie down with the lamb. Today, a gorilla chose love, and in that choice, the wild itself was redeemed. The storm has passed, but the air still trembles with the memory of it. The ground is damp, leaves glisten like shattered emeralds, and the sanctuary hums with a fragile silence. Then, in that silence, something impossible unfolds. Luma, the gorilla mother who fought instinct and storm alike, nudges her smaller infant forward, just an inch, just enough. A silent offering, a plea written not in words but in trust. Harris drops to his hands and knees. Each movement is deliberate, reverent, as though he crawls not through mud, but across sacred ground. His breath catches in his throat. Before him lies the smaller twin, fragile, barely breathing, yet still clinging to the thin thread of life. Slowly, carefully, he gathers the infant, tucking her inside his vest. Heart to heart, Luma watches with eyes that pierce the veil between beast and man. Her expression unreadable, ancient. When Harris retreats, he does not turn his back. Every step backward is both surrender and promise. The gate clinks shut, and the world bursts into action. Maya snatches the infant, her hands trembling, but steadying as instinct takes over. Eli rushes to prep oxygen, the hum of machines rising like a hymn of hope. 2 minutes pass, stretching into eternity, and then movement. A twitch, a gasp, then a weak but steady cry. The room erupts, relief pouring out in laughter and tears. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning, and joy has come, fragile but alive. Back in the enclosure, rain still dripping from leaves, Luma curls herself around the stronger twin, her massive arms tighten, chest rising and falling with fierce protectiveness. She didn't lose both. Somewhere deep in her memory, carved by grief, scarred by the death of her first child years before, she knows she chose trust, and that trust was not betrayed. The incubator beeps softly in the nursery. The weaker twin, swaddled in thermal fabric and glowing under infrared light, breathes with steadier rhythm now. Tubes deliver warmth and nutrients, the rhythm of life preserved by human hands. Maya wipes her face, tears mingling with sweat. "She's got a chance," she whispers, as though afraid the walls themselves might steal the words. And in that moment, the sanctuary itself seems to breathe. "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you hope and a future." The staff nicknames her Hope, a name that carries weight far greater than her fragile frame. 3 days pass. The jungle shifts. Luma, once restless and pacing, now lies calm within the alcove. She nurses the stronger twin, nicknamed River for the storm that birthed him, with quiet focus. She no longer scans the tree line with wild suspicion. Something in her spirit has stilled, as though she has stepped into an ancient rhythm long forgotten. When Harris returns to the enclosure's edge, she sees him. There is no growl, no warning posture, only a gaze, steady and knowing. Harris lowers to a crouch, setting down a bundle of fabric in the grass. The blanket, the same one she once wrapped around her first infant before death stole it away. He walks away without a word. An hour later, cameras capture her pulling it into the nest beside her baby. She remembers every pain, every kindness, every bond. These things I remember as I pour out my soul. And in her memory, she carries not only her story, but the bond that bridges wild and human. In the nursery, hope grows stronger. Monitors flash steady numbers, and her tiny chest rises with determination. She is fragile but relentless, and the staff dares to dream. Yet another question looms. When to return her? What if Luma rejects her after days apart? What if instinct, so recently defied, turns cold once more? The weight of this question hangs over the sanctuary like a storm cloud. Days stretch into a week. At last, the team makes their decision. The gate creaks open. The infant carrier is placed on the grass, just beyond the threshold. No tricks, no force. Just patience, just faith. From the tree line, Luma appears. River clings to her side. Her eyes catch the carrier, and the world holds its breath. She circles it, muscles taut. A low hum rolls from her throat. Then, slowly, she bends. Hope squeaks. A fragile sound, but alive. Something shifts in Luma. Her massive hand trembles, then steadies. She reaches inside, gathers hope against her chest, and lifts her daughter into her arms. Both twins, one on each side, balanced, complete. And the staff exhales as one, tears falling freely. Though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken. Love has triumphed. The video spreads like wildfire. Millions of hearts around the world stop and start again at the sight. Gorilla mother accepts twin after human rescue. Headlines echo the miracle. Rare twin survival sparks. Global awe. Maternal instinct knows no boundaries. The story becomes a beacon, proof that compassion is not bound by species. Yet for the sanctuary staff, the headlines are irrelevant. What matters is what they witnessed in those sacred hours. The standoff, the trust, the choice, the miracle. Weeks pass, and life flourishes. Luma allows zookeepers closer now. Even tolerates Maya's quiet presence during feeding sessions. She no longer radiates only tension. There is openness, a willingness to share her space. Even the sanctuary's oldest male, once aloof and distant, now lingers nearby at dusk. As if recognizing her courage, River grows bold, clambering with confidence. Hope lags behind, but her laughter, light, ringing, defiant, always comes first. Their alcove becomes legend within the sanctuary, the spot where life nearly ended and began again. The wilderness and the dry land shall be glad. The desert shall rejoice and blossom it has. At the year's end, the sanctuary releases a statement. The survival of both infants, they declare, is not just a conservation milestone, but a testimony that nature is not only ruthless, but resilient. That sometimes, when humanity chooses compassion over control, the wild answers with miracles. On the anniversary of their birth, the gates remain closed for one quiet hour. No crowds, no cameras, just the forest breathing. Just Luma, River, and Hope, the family that should not have survived, but did. She was supposed to choose one. Nature said she couldn't save them both, but Luma didn't listen to nature. She listened to something deeper. Instinct, memory, love. And when a human reached across the divide, she answered not with fear, but with trust, a trust that saved 2 lives and changed countless others. If this story moved you, share it. Speak it. Carry it forward. For it is not just a touching animal story, not just a dramatic wildlife rescue. It is a reminder that the bond between animal and humanity is alive, breathing, and unbreakable. And now these 3 remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. And so, in the stillness of that sanctuary, beneath the canopy of ancient trees, a truth unfolded that shook every heart who witnessed it. Love has no species, no borders, no limits. Luma was not supposed to save them both. Nature had written a crueler script. Yet with courage, trust, and an unspoken bond between gorilla and human, she defied that script. River and Hope survived not because science intervened alone, but because a mother believed, and because people were brave enough to stand beside her in that belief. It wasn't just a rescue. It wasn't just survival. It was a reminder that compassion is the one language all creation understands. When Luma reached for her second child and held her close, she held the whole world close too, showing us that even in the wildest places, love is the greatest instinct of all. And as River and Hope now climb, laugh and play beneath their mother's watchful eyes, the sanctuary whispers a new legend, that when nature seemed ready to take, love gave back. And in that giving, humanity and the wild became one family again.